I am sure you've all heard about the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is said to be responsible for a lot of paranormal activity, such as mysterious disappearances and other very strange anomalies. But what a lot of people don't know is that there are a lot of places throughout the world, both land and sea, that possess very strange anomalies that scientists just can't explain. In a small town in northern Kazakhstan, something very bizarre started to happen. For some unknown reason, people would be out and about doing their daily chores when all of a sudden, they would just fall asleep. And even in some rare cases, some of these unlucky people would fall into a deep coma. One day, a young man was riding his motorcycle and he just blacked out. When he woke up a couple hours later in the hospital, he said that it felt like he just got turned off. This strange phenomena is now known as a sleeping sickness, and it only started to happen about 2 years ago. Scientists and doctors have no real explanation as to why this happens. They don't know what is causing this, and this town is slowly becoming a ghost town as nobody wants to live there anymore. Now I don't know why, but this story reminded me about the now famous time travel tunnel in China. I did cover this story before, but I'll cover it again for those that never heard about it. There is a tunnel in China that when you drive through it, the time on your cell phone will mysteriously go back an hour in time. Now this story started to spread like wildfire, and this tunnel started to get very famous. People started to flock to this tunnel to see if the rumors were true. And it is. 80% of the time, the clock on your cell phones will go back about an hour. And once you drive further away from the tunnel, the time gets corrected. Now of course there are many theories as to why this happens, but as of yet, no one knows why, making this a very bizarre anomaly, and one I'll be sure to keep a close eye on. In 1978, construction started in Taiwan to build some very odd UFO-looking houses. These bizarre houses were made and marketed for United States military officers that were posted nearby. While building these very unique homes, something very odd started to happen. The workers just started to die. Some of these workers were committed suicide left and right, and others were killed in some very bizarre car accidents. There were so many odd deaths that they had to shut the project down. Now after tons of speculation, many believe that the cause of these deaths were because of a Chinese dragon sculpture that was destroyed in order to make room for these houses. Others believe that the site was built over a burial ground for Dutch soldiers, and the spirits of these dead soldiers were a little upset when they saw these very odd homes being built over their final resting place. Now whatever the case may be, the workers that were lucky enough to escape with their lives now believe without a shadow of a doubt that curses are real. And they are very thankful that this project was canceled. They believed if they would have continued, that they too would have died. Lately, I've been coming across a ton of articles about the Kansas rectangle. And after researching a bit deeper, I couldn't find any actual evidence to back up these claims. But just like with most paranormal stories, it's hard to get to the bottom of the mystery. Now since these stories are so bizarre and so interesting, I wanted to share it, and maybe some of my subscribers can enlighten me. A man named Matthew Hume has been uncovering some very bizarre disappearances within the Kansas rectangle. He has stated that every year, people just vanish while visiting this remote region. Now it's nothing unusual for people to go missing, especially in the wilderness. But the odd thing about these mass disappearances is, there is never no trace of these people ever found. Usually, when people go missing, especially on this scale, eventually some evidence comes to the light of day. But not for the people who go missing within the Kansas rectangle. It's like they just fell off the face of the earth. Matthew also claims the whole Greyhound buses full of people go missing while traveling through this region. And he has personally interviewed hundreds of people who have come face to face with all these strange anomalies. A man named Ned was traveling to St. Louis to go see his family. Ned had been driving for hours, but he felt it's as if he hadn't moved at all. He really had no idea which direction he was going in. While driving through the rectangle, he just felt very strange, and he started to get a little freaked out. He thought he was going completely insane. Once he got out of the Kansas rectangle, he was very relieved, and he told his family that he would never drive that route ever again. Another very strange account comes from Kyle Manaheim, a salesman from Minneapolis. Kyle was inside the Kansas rectangle for 2 weeks on business, and when he left, he could not remember anything. Now he knew he was there, but he can't actually remember doing one thing. It's as if those 14 days never happened. Now according to Matthew, there are hundreds of stories very similar to these, and the most common things people say is that they felt a very unsettling perception of time and distortion. A lot of people say that they felt it's as if time just stops. making the Kansas Rectangle Mystery get quite popular throughout the paranormal community, and also making me wonder, why have I never heard about this before? I would like to thank John for this next story. I love when my subscribers inform me about awesome stories that I've never heard about, and this mystery is pretty amazing. Canada possesses some of the most remote wilderness on the planet, and most of these locations are pretty much still untouched by modern man, and the Nahanni Valley is one of these places. This extremely remote location is said to be one of the most beautiful places on Earth. But despite all its beauty, it has a very dark past, and it's also known as the Valley of the Headless Men. This valley has been surrounded in mystery and folklore since it was first inhabited. These ancient tribes first started going to the valley about 10,000 years ago. And the tribes were very afraid to settle within this remote region as they believed it was a very evil place. The tribes that ventured into this valley would tell tales of mysterious creatures lurking within the darkness. And there was also a mountain tribe known as the Naha that once inhabited this land. Now this tribe terrified everybody that lived within the region. They were ruthless. Legend states that this mountain tribe possessed very strange and powerful weapons, and when they raided the nearby settlements, they showed no mercy. They struck fear throughout the land. But even this tribe of warriors were afraid of the valley that lay below. Now you may be wondering, how did this place come to be known as the Valley of the Headless Men? It all started in 1906 when two brothers, Willie and Frank McLeod, entered this valley searching for gold, and they were never heard from again. Well, at least not for 2 more years when they were found with no heads. Then, in 1917, the body of a Swiss prospector was also found with no head. Then again in 1945, another body was found, and guess what? He had no head. It is said that over the years, there have been at least 44 headless bodies found within this valley. Now this location is said to possess tons of gold, but because of all these very bizarre and terrifying deaths, no one wants to go into this valley. Now this must be a terrifying place, as usually gold will give a man enough reason to risk his life. And I'm sure most of you would agree. But what or who is causing all these decapitations? Now most would assume that the Naha are responsible for all these beheadings. But here's where things get even more strange. The Naha were very well known throughout the region, but there has been no signs of these people anywhere. They just vanished and nobody knows why. But because this place is so big and so isolated, I believe that it might just be possible that these warriors may have found a way to hide from the modern world. There was a very small expedition into this region not that long ago, and what they uncovered was pretty shocking. The explorers stumbled upon these huge underground caverns, and these caverns were massive. After their expedition, they called this place a lost world, and they believed that this valley could easily possess tons of unknown species. And maybe even some of these animals that roam these lands were able to escape extinction. Now due to this discovery, some believe that the Naha could be hiding in some of these huge underground caverns. I mean, can you imagine an ancient tribe of people living undetected in Canada? Now that just blows my mind. And another thing I forgot to mention is there are tons of geysers within this valley, making it very warm and very misty. It's very hard for anyone to detect anything. Some unknown animal could be right behind you and you would never even know it. Now there are tons of theories as to what might be lurking in this remote region. Some believe it's a safe haven for Bigfoot. Some believe species such as the short-faced bear could still exist throughout this area. And some even believe that this place is home to an alien base, as there are tons of UFO sightings each and every year. Some even speculate that there could even be an entrance to the Hollow Earth in one of these massive underground caverns. Now when all is said and done, one thing is for sure. This mystical valley is a paranormal researcher's paradise. Well, at least for those that are brave enough to enter. Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.